Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the announcement and two very interesting parts of this announcement. Now, well, I guess three, but two very interesting parts to this announcement. The first part is super interesting because it's a update or a buff to the Legends Limited Frieza and Goku. So it's actually pretty clutch, and when I say clutch, it's a pretty big deal because they don't usually upgrade units, and they kind of mention the points here. They talk about how it's a little bit too easy to work around the Rising Rush counter. Basically, they're not too survivable, which I did kind of mention in my review video or my build video, and they do, especially on Goku's side, lack a little bit of kind of that combo-esque ability to really just kind of sink in deep and string moves together. So they're going to address that, which I think is good. The buffing part, I think, is basically a very good decision by them. They usually fix units with bringing out platinum equips or things like that, but I think it's good that they are essentially bringing out or starting to look at buffing units, as soon as they come out, if they're not satisfactory, especially for an anniversary unit. And the thing is Frieza and Goku weren't even terrible, so I think all around it's just good. You can see the changes on screen, some pretty interesting ones. Restoration of Vanishing Gauge when going to Frieza, which is good. Increased arts card draw speed for more timer counts. Non-cancelable damage reduction, which gets added in when Goku gets thrown into the match. Reduction in enemy key, randomly destroys one enemy card, which is all really, really good. Basically just allowing you to disrupt a bit more the enemy's flow. Kind of stops, especially when you were using Goku or Frieza as cover change. It just wasn't working out. You'd throw them in, and then basically they could just get comboed down if you didn't get their strike cover off, which really wasn't a good situation for them. So these are all very good changes across the board, which I think is really solid. And then they just kind of strengthen them a little bit in terms of the amount of times you change cover. The Frieza changes are also a little bit more minor, I want to say, because Frieza, people had kind of agreed that Frieza was the better, how can I say, that Frieza was the better side of the unit. So Frieza's buffs are a little bit more minute, but still pretty solid. Some cost reduction, basically just stuff to enable him to flow a bit better and to combo a bit better, which is really good. And then of course also just some more continuations of those abilities to, stop the enemy's combo. So that's all really solid stuff. Then we have the Rising Rush changes, or just changes to both. And these are pretty good changes. One really important thing to note here is they make the window for the opposition to work around your Rising Rush counter a lot smaller. So previously, basically, if you swapped out Frieza and Goku, while their sub-timer count was up, they basically couldn't come in, and your opponent would have a free use of Rising Rush. So it was, pretty basic. As soon as Goku and Frieza sub out, throw out your Rising Rush. Now it closes that window a little bit because they could reduce their timer count by 7. So basically, if you don't use your Rising Rush within the first 4 or 3 seconds after they sub out, then all of a sudden it's a much smaller window. And if an enemy is killed, then the timer goes down again, and it goes from being a 4 timer count to being a 3, which helps because it means basically you're going to see their counter used a lot more. Not to mention they add in the ability for the Rising Rush counter to combo into a special arts card attack. I think that's pretty good. Making it so that you can hard counter and then combo into your own special card move, ultimately at the end of the day, is something that's very, very important, and it's going to see them become a lot better. I think they're going to be a lot closer to being way easier to use for players, and because of that, that's going to make them a lot better to use. Now, the last thing I kind of want to mention, so beyond Frieza and Goku's buffs, is this also the second part to this announcement, where they kind of talk a little bit about like changes to Legends Limited characters. And this is very interesting to me, because what this means, at least to me, is that they're considering buffing Legends Limited characters. So they kind of mentioned doing something similar to the Ultra Resonance ability that Ultra characters have, which is not the best ability, but in some way they want to improve how Legends Limited characters work. And I think that's a good call, more so for aging Legends Limited characters than current ones, and it will just help them stay a bit relevant for longer. Legends Limited characters have a lower drop chance, obviously, so it's good to keep them still very cool, like especially now with Legends Limited units getting Zenkais, and some of these Legends Limited Zenkais even aging. There has to be some way for them to retrospectively buff those characters, and I think they do. They need to just sometimes accept that they need to just buff older characters, at least older Legends Limiteds, because they need to make it so that it's better for players to build them. It needs to be an exciting experience. As far as I know, the changes to Goku Frieza aren't implemented in-game yet, but as soon as they are, we'll be re-looking at Goku Frieza in another build video, just to see how much better they do after their buffs, and yeah, see if they become a monster, because based on the changes, they could definitely be much better. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and let me know your thoughts. See you next time. Bye.